very independent.
Look at him, he's coming over. Hi.
What is the story that you need to tell?
You want to do splits?
So good at all the stretches.
We're gonna do splits.
Very stretchy.
Oh, thank you.
It's very affectionate, Dessiton.
Very sweet. All right. Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Rachel. And
This is Effort and Ease
Yoga. Yoga that you can practice anywhere at any time and fit with ease into your daily life. Today we are going to take you on a little how-to for splits. So whether that's half splits, full splits, standing splits, we're going to go through some of the, we're going to go through those three primary splits variations that you would encounter perhaps in a yoga practice and kind of unpack them, go through the alignment cues and the ways to make them more meaningful for the progression of your practice, because I think a lot of people will hear splits and think, well, I can't do splits, which is something that I think we've both experienced in class, in real life, with real people. And the answer to that is, guess what you won't ever be able to do if you don't practice it?
Anything.
Literally, anything.
But also splits for today.
Splits included. So this is where you get to practice the splits so that one day they can look maybe a little bit more expansive, right? Be meaningful for your body. Provide your body a new way of moving so that it is more free.
Let's do it.
Let's go. For this splits how-to, we're going to start with the most basic and the most common variation of split, which is a half split. So Sarah, if you will, grab your blocks. Perfect. Extend your right leg forward. Now, Sarah's going to start off by doing a really messy split, one that I would like to correct. So we're going to remove the blocks because she's going to just be reaching for the floor.
How about like this?
How about like that? How about she is so determined to get her forehead close to her shin that she pulls her hips back and takes the stretch out of the hamstring. Yeah, so from here, shift forward. Bring your hips directly over your knee. And now extend your right leg forward, push the heel down, and really fiercely flex these toes back. Good. Now, from your spine is already looking nice and extended. Show us a rounded flex spine, just for example. So rather than bringing the forehead to the knee, which is a valuable pose in and of itself, it's just not a splits pose. So rather than pulling her forehead to her knee, she's going to instead extend her chin towards her shin and squeeze her scapula together to broaden through the chest. This is where the blocks can come in handy because some of us won't have the room in the hamstrings to have the hands all the way on the ground and keep the chin and the chest reaching forward. So that's where you can use the blocks to press and find that nice extension in the spine so that your tailbone is actually tilting up. So think about your right hip lifting up and back. Good, as you press your right heel down. Now, one very simple way to intensify the experience of this pose is pull your right heel back 1 inch. How did that feel?
It feels like a lot.
Feels like a lot. Good, and that's good. And so then we're gonna breathe here. Keep pressing the right heel down, keep pulling the right toes back. Good, and now bend your right knee, take a little break. Shift your hips forward. Good. Now, this pose does not look like half split anymore, not the traditional variation at least, but it is technically a half split. In being in low lunge, which in the Sanskrit is called Hanumanasana, Sarah is actually moving her back leg into a split shape. This is the shape that her leg would take if she were to move into full split, which is called Hanumanasana. And something that is interesting is that Anjaneyasana is named after a goddess who was in fact the mother of Hanuman, for whom split is named. So this pose is very accurately sort of the mother of the full split. Very cool, right?
Now you know.
Now you know. Good. Now one more time, press your hip back, find your half split, tip the tailbone up, right hip back, left hip forward and down, and breathe. Good. And then you can get right out of that. Take a little break. From the half split, we're going to practice our standing split. So, would you like to switch legs for your standing split and do this one on the left?
Would love to do my good side.
All right, so which is also a really important point. Our hips are our largest joint. It's an easy place in every body to notice little side-to-side differences. And just because one side is capable perhaps of more flexibility or more strength, we continue to work both sides, obviously, with curiosity and interest, not judgment, not thinking this side's the good side, this side's the bad side, but just working both sides, which wherever they are at that point. For your standing split, you don't need the blocks. Bend your knees a lot. Place your hands down on the mat, and then extend your right leg up to the sky. Good. Now, over the course of working on this standing split, Sarah's going to keep trying to draw her right hip in rather than letting it open. She's going to keep squeezing her quad so that this hamstring can release and make more space. And she's taking the option to pull her body in towards her standing left leg, which will give the right hip a little bit more liberty to extend as she reaches those right toes higher. So the more she pulls her body weight in towards the standing left leg, the higher the right toes can get. She has the option to take a super soldier here by bending her right knee. She can reach behind her back with her left hand and hook onto her right toes. And then this becomes a quad stretch as she pulls her toes forward and lifts her knee higher. Yeah. Good. It can also become a twisted bow, which is kind of where you were moving before. You can hold on to the toes and kick the knee straight up. Good. Beautiful. And then release, bring both hands back down to the mat, or both feet back down to the mat. Good. Take a little inhale, look lengthen to reset. Good. Exhale, fold, soften. Good. And then you can slowly roll up. Now we're going to work on a standing split, focusing on the balance rather than on the flexibility. The one that we just did on the ground, you were at your maximal flexibility, but it's hard to come to the balance from that same place. So this way we're going to start in a more engaged position, and it might not look the same as it did when you were working on flexibility alone. So first come into your warrior three, root down through your right foot, sweep your left leg back behind you, hands in prayer. Come as far as parallel, and then split your arms, spread your arms wide. Good, really keep engaging through that right leg. You can soften the right knee a little bit if the hamstring is too tight, and start to bring your chest forward and down and your left toes back and up. So pointing the left toes, think chin forward, chest forward, chin forward, chest forward, and then the wobbles are good. It's hard work. Bring your hands behind your right ankle and see if you can interlace back there. Good. And then you're using the grip on your right leg to pull your body in towards your standing leg as your left toes reach higher. And falling out is part of the challenge. If this wasn't challenging, we'd all be doing it all the time. But this is part of the work. Keep pushing through your big toe. That's okay. Take your time. Good. Good. Think more chin forward. Yes. And Sarah's even got her elbows to touch back there. Good. So a different experience than just working on the flexibility where we're down on the ground. From here, we're gonna work on our full split. At this point in the practice, you might need to take a little bit of a counter to open the hips, which have been very active in that standing split. So why don't you come down to your knees for just a moment. Place your hands behind your back, pinkies together, thumbs apart. For a little supported camel, lift your hip, lift your chest, let your head fall back, press the hips forward, knees down, chins forward, chest up. Good, and then rewind. Pull the belly in to bring the chin forward. Good, you can sit your hips back on your heels. Take a break. Good, and then Sarah's going to, now that she's taken the counter, grab your blocks. And you're going to send your left leg through. Show us what split looked like for you, maybe when you first started practicing. Right, so it's nice and high, and that's because the hamstrings are still putting up a little bit of resistance. The seat can't come all the way to the floor, but she's still, for all intents and purposes, in a full split because that left hip is extended, her knee is way behind her hip, her right leg is forward, her left hip is forward, that hip's in flexion. She's pushing the ground apart with her two heels in opposite directions, or 2 feet rather in opposite directions. So it's still a full split even though it's not fully grounded. If she wanted to get it a little bit closer to the earth, Sarah, you could use those blocks on either side of you and create a little bouncing action in your legs. So you could kind of bounce the hips down and up. So think about shooting your left heel forward and then pulling it back. Forward and back. Good. Yeah, like you can actually move forward and back. Yep. You can do this with a sock so that you get a little bit slippery. She's sticking on the mat here a little bit. A sock would make it a more gliding action. And then Sarah, if you will humor us and come into a very lopsided split for a second. So if you remove the blocks, oh wait, before you remove the blocks, let's show one more thing. She can also bring a block underneath her seat. So this is a more passive way to let gravity assist you into the split. So using the block to support herself, she's just letting the right hip kind of hang heavy and slowly allowing gravity to pull the joint closer towards the earth. Option. Another option, she's going to remove the block and come into what I like to call a lazy split. So extend your left leg forward and let your torso collapse over to the right. Good. This variation feels a lot more comfortable, yes? Because you have taken the work of squaring the hips out of the equation, and now it's really more of a stretch for your adductor on your left side, but also crucially an opportunity for the head of your left femur to kind of rotate a little bit more deeply into the hip socket. So you could stay here, or if you really wanted to find more depth in your actual split, walk your hands back to frame your left leg and notice if maybe it feels a little bit more spacious. Did. And now Sarah automatically did something that is necessary for a yoga split. So if you'll go back to your collapse split for just one moment. Good. So here again, you'll notice that her hips are not square. If she comes back to a full split, come back towards your full split, but don't square your hips. So this is where a lot of people get caught, is they're in what looks like a full split, but the hips are not actually square. So to correct this, she's going to tuck her back toes and push her right hip forward. Good. So you'll notice that squaring the hips caused her tailbone to lift a little bit, her pelvis to lift a little bit off the earth, and that's okay. She's moving towards greater depth within the correct alignment. How does this feel right now? A lot. We're going to ask her to do one more thing, and that is she's going to squeeze her quadricep and then release it. And then squeeze it and release it. And each time she does that, the hamstring is getting a greater chance to open and lengthen.
Those feel great.
Those feel good. Good. How to, lots of different splits and ways to make them more meaningful so that your split does start to look a little bit more unencumbered, a little bit more free. You move from being up high to being a little lower over time. Maybe in the standing split, you're moving from being more of an L shape to more of a vertical line.
Thank you for watching. I hope this made sense to you. I hope you try the cues. If you have any questions or anything was unclear, let us know. Happy splitting.
Happy splits.
Thanks. Oh, sorry. Subscribe. See ya.
Yep.
Maybe with a sock.
What?
Recommend a sock.
The sock.
Wear a sock.
A sock.
Wear a sock.
Are you saying wear a sock?
Wear a sock.
Okay.